Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 1257 and Doubleshot number 1160. I have two trades featuring very beautiful women. First up it is Captain Marvel, Volume 3, The Last Avenger. This collects Captain Marvel, Volume 11, issues 12 to 17. Written by Kelly Thompson. Artwork by, first Lee Gerber does the first 5 issues, and your last one's by Francesca Mina. Now, the Last Avenger storyline only takes up the first 5 issues in here. The Last Avenger storyline is a follow-up to, I kid you not, Death of the Inhumans. No joke, it seriously is. So, it's explained via flashback of why Carol Danvers basically looks like this. Apparently, after visiting a Kree evacuation, pre-refugee camp, she goes back to the Alpha Flight space station, and then some goo starts coming out of her body. When the heck that got there was never actually explained. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. And then she wakes up, and she's on the moon. Yes, in the former city belonging to the Inhumans. If you're curious, though, when the heck this happened, read Death of the Inhumans. Where she runs into Vox Supreme, which apparently is basically the character Vox, who was the serial killer from the Death of the Humans miniseries, merged with the Kree Supreme Intelligence. And basically he blackmails her into killing the Avengers. Yep, killing all the Avengers. Why the Avengers? Because apparently the Avengers are a threat to the Kree for reasons, even though the Vox were meant to kill humans. Why in the world the Avengers? I don't really know why. So who should go after first? Thor. By the way, Thor is still wearing, if you're curious though why he looks like this, he still has the golden eye patch and the amputated arm. Oh yeah, by the way, Spider-Man is actually not in this storyline. Despite him being on this cover, he is nowhere to be seen. Not even mentioned. I'm like, really? Yep, so she goes after Thor, beats him up, and then apparently looks like he chopped off him, but nope, he's in another dimension. Goes after Tony Stark, and she goes after... No mention goes after Doctor Strange, surprisingly, though they apparently go after Black Panther, Captain America, implying killing him, but nope, not really. And then she revealed, oh yeah, basically the deaths, all a ruse. Just so we can beat you up. And they do. The Avengers beat him up and he's hauled off to the raft. I'm like, he's an alien. What Earth crimes has he committed? I mean, yeah, he basically was responsible for killing some Inhumans, but no one liked the humans very much. But no, they put him in the raft for reasons. Also, get this. Singularity makes a return. Yes, Singularity from A-Force. Which, kudos for Kelly Thompson for doing that because she's one of the people who helped create this character. I mean, she last appeared at, I think it was after the opening story arc of A-Force, basically post-Secret Wars. Yeah, absolute great character. She says, don't be a stranger, come by at any time. But she's not appearing in the next story arc. Oh no, she doesn't. But the Last Avenger storyline, I think, is actually really good. 17 is a standalone issue. Basically, kind of a girls' night out with Wolverine. Whereas basically, get this. It's basically Carol hanging out with a few people. Yep. By the way, this is Vox Supreme. Yeah, it's being merged with, like I said, the Supreme Intelligence. Now, basically, they have a night out. We have it with Spectrum, Hazmat, Jessica Drew, Wolverine. And I love the cover for this. Basically, it's Carol Danvers and Wolverine. Though I'm not really a big fan of the Wolverine costume because it's the old 80s costume. A costume I know my friend Andrew, he likes the costume. It's his favorite Wolverine costume. My favorite Wolverine costume, and for of course a lot of people, is the Jim Lee costume from the 90s. I like that costume the best. So basically, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan basically goes to play games. Turns to playing poker. Yeah, poker is something that's a recurring theme in the Marvel Universe. Wolverine does take part in it. It's kind of in a way like a this whole poker game thing. It's been a recurring thing in Marvel Comics for, I'd say, the past 20 years. I think it was Bendis who started this in the Marvel Comic universe. So they go and this place called Escape from New Jersey, which is basically a play on Escape from New York. So Carol basically goes with Camilla, a place called Nexus, and the place is run by a supervillain. Yep. Who is this guy? I think it's supposed to be Miracle. It's basically kind of like an escape thing, which is pure fun. So, after they defeat the guy, he's jumping on the raft. They call him dumb. Let's say they don't really say what this guy's name is. I think it might be Mr. Miracle. Yes, I think so. But 17 is a fun standalone issue. As for why Wolverine got dragged along to essentially put a girls' night out, I don't know. Maybe because he had nothing else to do. Probably because also he's one of Carol's closest friends. But this book is actually really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure my friend Tivia is probably not a big fan of the Last Avenger storyline. Probably because it involves because there's a follow-up to Death in Humans. Now, normally, Danny Coles will follow up his own stuff, but this is the first time one of the few times I've seen where another writer has to open another writer's works. This book, I'm going to give roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Damn good. Though, if you're curious, though, this box appears next door. No, because next door is a tie-in to Empire. Yep. Yes, it is. Now, Danny Coles is basically notorious, for whatever book he's working on. He's one of a couple writers I've seen who love actually one of 3 writers I've seen who love basically having their books they work on get followed and stuff they work on other books. The only writers I've seen besides him have been Matthew Rosenberg and Al Ewing. Also, Rick Remender does this too. But Bendis, he never did very much. Jason Aaron, I can't think of a time he actually did this. Not really, no. Now, has Kelly Thompson ever followed anything that she's written in her book? Kinda, but not really. Mostly it's, like I said, just Al Ewing, Danny Cotis, Rick Remender, and I think that's it. Just these few writers who are known for basically following up with their own work, which I think is actually really good. Keeps a good continuity, basically, with their own work. Kelly Thompson, not really, though this is actually one of 3 titles she's working right now, along with Deadpool and Black Widow. Though I'd say of these 3 books, I like her other books, which keep getting canceled for no reason. Captain Marvel, I don't think is getting canceled anytime soon due to the fact I think it's actually one of Marvel's best-selling books. Deadpool, because it's Deadpool, he's always popular. Black Widow, possibly, I'm not sure. Because I don't think Marvel's going to cancel this book anytime soon because the Black Widow movie coming out. Alright, moving on to a different woman, but this time it's not written by, the book's not written by a woman, it's written by 2 guys who I have met personally. This book is actually really good. This is Lois Lane, Enemy of the People. This book contains the entire 12-issue limited series of Lois Lane. And, like I said, it's basically... This is written by Greg Rucka and artwork by Mike Perkins. Awesome dude. As far as I can tell, this is the first time they ever worked together on anything. Mike Perkins has done basically work like this before. Mostly for his work on Captain America. The guy is one fantastic artist. Rucka has done stuff like this before, mostly in other books, basically. He's known for basically doing some crime stuff, mostly a lot of stuff related to Batman. Batman shows up in here. And it's almost like when you read the series, it's kind of Greg Rucka's basically a love letter to his fans by having various characters pop up in here he has previously written alongside with the main story in here. Now, Lois Lane, basically, in the opening issue of the series, she basically calls out an administrator from the White House, yes, the White House, on some shady dealings. Yes, some shady dealings. Though, basically, she goes investigating, though she gets help. She also teams this story with Renee Montoya. The Question. Yep, The Question. And also, I appreciate Mike Perkins doing this because I think Perkins knows how smoking hot Lois Lane is. So, several times in here, she's shown in her underwear and shown how much physically fit this woman is. It's like this woman also works out too. Aside from being a really good reporter, she also works out too, where she basically takes her clothes off and she walks in the shower and she's in there with her husband, aka Superman. Yep, and it's implied after they had the shower, they had sex. Not kidding. I'm not joking about that. It's implied, very heavily implied by Rucka, these two had sex on panel. Not the first time I'm seeing Rucka do this, where he takes two characters who have loved each other for decades, who basically, he's shown basically the aftermath of two characters look like they've had sex. The only other time I think of this has happened was when he did the final issue of his run for Wonder Woman, where he basically had it where in the final issue of his run, where Steve Trevor had sex with Wonder Woman. Which, good on you, Steve Trevor, for doing that because Wonder Woman was hot. And of course, well, Mike Perkins draws, well, what Superman basically with his, well, six-pack and a hairy chest. Just like Batman. Only biggest difference between Batman and Superman. Superman, despite being like muscular, he's not overly muscular like Batman is. Yeah. So, over the course of the series, basically, Lois Lane is investigating this conspiracy involving Leviathan. And basically, also Renee Montoya, when one of the places they go, she hits on a woman, and Lois is like, "Do that in your own time." They're like, "Oh, I'm Holly. I'm Renee. You want to go to a bar together?" Yep. By the way, this Holly woman is revealed to be a character called Kiss of Death. Those interesting stuff happens with her later. There's mention of the crime Bible in here, and then one of the most weirdest things happens in here. Yes. And how do I classify this as weird? Like, well, they had one issue end with hilarity, where basically Wonder Woman, where Lois thinks her husband is in the shower. He opens it up, and it's actually her son. No, she doesn't see anything, but I'm sure it's just comedy, the fact that Rucka basically did this. So she basically covers her eyes, doesn't see anything. Though basically that he does cover up, and the whole issue, they spend time together, which I do appreciate that. Also, if you're curious, though, at one point in this miniseries, Lois Lane actually puts on the outfit she wore in the Best Friend storyline from Tom King's Batman book. Yep. So aside from, well, the creepy scene of Lois actually walking on her son, her teenage son. So this is what I classify as weird. We have the Question fighting the Question. Yes, Vic Sage is here. And Renee asks the obvious question. Charlie, you died. Yeah, I know. Too many questions. Does that question get answered here? No, they don't bother to answer the question. If you're curious, though, we're like, when the heck did Vic Sage die? They mentioned this death that basically she mentions happened back in the final issue of 52, which is also the series that killed off the Elongated Man. Yeah. Also, this is what I mean by Mike Perkins showing off the fact that Lois Lane works out. She's ripped. Not like with a six-pack, but she looks in great shape for a woman her age. And she's only like mid-30s. And she runs into Vic Sage, which is quite nice. I'm not surprised she knows him, because it seems like the Question is one of those characters who knows everybody in DC Universe. So, and that happened issue 4, so they basically worked together for a while, like Renee and, well, Lois. And at one point, now, at several points in the series, Lois basically hooks up with her husband, Superman, several times. Now, that's why I think Superman does appear in the series. Rucka knows that Superman is not the star here, Lois is. So have appear occasionally in the series, but not really interfering with the series plot. Just remind you, yeah, Superman is here and around. Batman shows up a couple issues, doesn't do much of anything except for the fact that he's there. Mostly just interacts with Renee, because Renee Montoya is from the Batman comics. First time they interact is on the rooftop of the GCPD, where she gets some info, and of course Batman basically just kills her. Okay, I'll give it a shot. And they reunite her later when she's meditating. Yes, meditating. Gives her more info. Also, I do appreciate the fact that Mike Perkins, like, when he draws Superman, and I appreciate that this is actually after the whole thing of him basically, I think it was when Bendis basically during his time. Also, this is how first time that Renee Montoya pops up in the series, which I think it's so great. The fact that Greg Rucka basically is writing Renee Montoya again, which I think is so awesome. Also, love this image of how Mike Perkins draws Superman. It looks so good. Yep. Oh, if you're curious though, like, what does it look like when he draws Batman? Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see here. Another good image of Renee Montoya. It's a great image. Let's see if I can find him here. He does appear briefly, like, mostly he's there for a quick cameo here and there. Let's see if I can find him. Also, this is Kiss of Death, who I will explain about this woman. It's quite interesting. Yeah, and this is the same woman that Renee hit on. Let's see if I can find him here. I'm trying to find him here. It's taking a while to find him. Here we go. Here's how Mike Perkins draws Batman. Really good. He must have done his homework. And plus, I gotta love this shot basically when he jumps off the rooftop. When he jumps off later on. When he pops up later on. Yeah, for some reason he has to do this. This little kicking thing. That's how he does when he flies off. Yep. And of course, at one point, Renee apparently dies, though Kiss of Death basically uses a ritual to sort of, in a way, revive her. And then, like, it's revealed that her real name is, if I can find her here. Yeah, it's revealed in issue 11 what her real name is. Her real name is Alicia Sanchez. So, Renee and her basically, like, feel like, okay. So, it's like, okay, so Sister Clarissa, she's one of the characters in here. It's like, because in religion of everybody's sin, what crime warrants such a curse? Love. And then Alicia, the former Kiss of Death, makes out with Renee Montoya. And then we have, it was like, oh. And then Lois smiles like, oh. I see, yes, well. Oh yeah, and also we have Jessica Midnight. She's actually from the Checkmate series. Yeah, Jessica Midnight. I think, if I remember correctly, she was the Black Knight from the series. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this woman basically, next issue, I love her line when they team up together, when they start a relationship, when they're basically like in a foreign country. She says, "Don't shoot at my girlfriend." And then Renee takes the Jeep, and then she does a little Spider-Man moment where she hangs up. She's on the roof, and she appears upside down in front of Renee. They kiss, and then it's like, huh. And then it's fairly implied that right after they basically kissed again, it's implied these two may have had sex afterwards, but we don't see them again in the series after that. But that's in the final issue of the series. I gotta say, really good. Fun. Good read. Rucka does a great job writing Lois in here. And I love the fact that he revisits characters in the series. Basically, Lois has a great supporting cast for this series. You have Renee Montoya, You have later on her girlfriend pops up. Well, woman becomes her girlfriend for the last couple issues of the series. Jessica Knight. Well, yeah, Jessica Knight. She's from Checkmate series. And of course, having Superman and Batman pop up in here, which was really good. I found this book be really enjoyable. I give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. Really good. And basically, the story, Lois Lane told, it's really good. It's one of like 2 limited series DC is publishing alongside with Axe Comics and Superman. I wonder how my friend Tivia felt about this series. I personally loved it. It was really good. I give it 10 because it's just really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Great cast of characters, great artwork, great story. Everything is good with the series. Will I get a chance to review Superman's Fall of Jimmy Olsen by Matt Fraction? Yes, when I get a chance to get my hands in the trade. This one I got purely because of the fact that, well, 1, I love the series, and 2, I'm a big fan of the creative team of the series. And plus, I've met both of them at Comic-Con. Yeah, Mike Perkins, I've actually met him 3 times. Rucka I've met once, though the first time I met, I was going to meet him at Comic-Con. He actually missed the con. Yeah, he missed it. I found a place where he's supposed to be, and I tweeted him later. And apparently he remembered the tweet when I met him officially. And yeah, I gave him my business card. I got him signed a couple books. Talked to him for a bit. Great guy. Yes, great person, me in person. Mike Perkins. Really good person. If I get a chance to go to Comic-Con again, I'm bringing this book, both Rucka and Mike Perkins, to sign. And I'm going to tell you personally that I really love this series. I give the series a 10 out of 10 because it's just so damn good. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. My next view is another Comic Corner, discussing a Marvel trade and an Image trade. Yep, one's the start of a trade series. The other one's the end of a one. Yep. See you in the next video. Bye.